What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Here's what we learned about the Lakers in last night's loss against the Clippers. Well, technically, I guess I really shouldn't say that because we didn't learn anything we really already didn't know. We know the Lakers are a team filled with a lot of talent on there, but they're just not that good of a team. And the reason why I say that, because this is the second time they've lost to the Clippers, and the Clippers didn't have Kawhi and PG on both occasions. And in both occasions, one of the occasions, you had LeBron James and the rest of the crew the first time, and this time you didn't have LeBron James, but you still had Anthony Davis go off for 30 points and 17 rebounds, and you found a way to lose the game. And don't get me wrong, it was a great game. I mean, it was a thriller. I mean, it came down to the end. It came down to the point where you thought the Clippers were going to lose until Reggie Jackson made that spin move from baseline, from the three-point line, to get all the way to the basket and make a layup to basically seal the victory. And even still, Anthony Davis came all the way down and had a chance to end the game with a floater that he put up that nearly went in to seal the victory. But when you watch a game like this, really the game shouldn't even have been close, because honestly, what the Clippers have on the floor, it's good, but really it shouldn't be good enough to beat a team like the Lakers, who has two superstars on the floor. And, you know, when you look at Anthony Davis, how he dominated in this game, you know, the Clippers really shouldn't have had a chance to even win. They were up in the third quarter. You know, they had a 17-point lead. I mean, they were feeling comfortable. And I feel like the Clippers got too comfortable to the point where, you know, they start taking their foot off the gas. And that's where I feel like the Lakers kind of like took advantage of, you know, what the Clippers were not doing. Because sometimes when teams build leads, they tend to always seem to take their foot off the gas and don't remember, hey, we built this lead for a reason. We need to try to sustain it. See, sustaining leads are just as hard, or sometimes harder, than actually building them. And a lot of teams and a lot of NBA fans don't believe that, but it's really actually true. So the Clippers kind of got comfortable, and, you know, the Lakers crept their way back in. I feel like the Clippers forgot that just because it's their home game, well, y'all play in the same building, so the Lakers fans are there just as much as Clippers fans. So it's really not a home game. It's almost like a neutral type game when both of these teams play each other, or at least until the Clippers go into their own arena, to the Intuit arena that they're about to get next year, at least until they go there. But for now, they're in the same arena, so all their fans come in the same building together. So I feel like the Clippers kind of forgot that, you know, kind of put it in cruise control, but nevertheless, they found a way to pull out the victory. But when you look at the Lakers, you see that they have a competitive spirit. You see that, you know, one thing we did learn also, I will say this, Russell Westbrook can cut down on his turnovers some, and he has been doing that lately. Even though he hasn't been going full throttle with points and putting up massive numbers consistently, him cutting down on the turnovers is definitely a big thing, and definitely could help the Lakers going forward. Now, the thing is, watching Anthony Davis put up 31 and 17 is very, very massive numbers, great numbers. But the thing is, can he do that while LeBron is on the floor? Can Russell Westbrook be less of a turnover machine while LeBron is on the floor as well? It's almost as if LeBron kind of slows them down in a way of speaking, but LeBron is the most effective player on the team, so you got to give him credit for doing what he's doing, because he's playing at an all-time high level, and the guy is like close to 40 years old, and it's just been very impressive to watch what he's been able to do. But it's very condescending looking at this team, because you don't understand how they have all this talent and they find ways to lose games that they should win. Now, I will say this, Carmelo Anthony did go out of the game last night, and he had a little bit going, you know, with his jumper and everything like that. So, I mean, maybe he could have been the difference in regards to helping the Lakers win, but I'm not exactly sure, because even without Carmelo Anthony, the Clippers still, with or without Carmelo Anthony, the Clippers probably would have still built maybe like a 5 or maybe 10-point lead, something like that. And, you know, it's been the MO for the Lakers all season. No matter who's on the floor, a team can come back from a lead that the Lakers have, and a team could build a lead against the Lakers that they can't come back from. And it just seems like that's an ongoing theme with the Lakers. They can't seem to find their stride in regards to neutralizing a team, to to better their chances of winning. And what we learned in last night's game is the same thing we always knew as well. The Lakers just don't have any defense. When you could let players run from one end of the court to the other end of the court, get layups, or let somebody come from the top of the key and drive around one defender and get a layup right in the basket when Anthony Davis is standing on the floor, when Anthony Davis is in the starting lineup, I mean, that's just not good. You have to have some resistance at the rim, and I feel like the Lakers just don't really have much. I mean, even though they have Dwight Howard and they do have Anthony Davis, but it doesn't really matter because their defense is so poor throughout games, throughout this whole season. It's almost like those two big men don't matter because they don't play defense. Dwight Howard is not the defensive player he used to be several years back when he was on Orlando, and maybe when he was on the Lakers, maybe a little bit of Houston as well, because he hasn't had his superstar stride in a long time. He been lost that. But I mean, defensively, I would think that he would help this team a little bit more, but one guy really can't do it. You see what I'm saying? And it has to be a collective effort. And I don't really feel like the Lakers play with a collective effort on defense, which allows teams to just do what they want, run up down the floor, get easy shots, high profile, high efficiency shots, and it just makes other teams feel comfortable when they play the Lakers because they don't feel like the Lakers are a threat defensively, in which the Lakers aren't. And when you look at this game, the Lakers, they play really, really good. I mean, like I said, it was a thriller type game. It was a really tough loss for the Lakers, though, I'll say, because you came back from the 17-point lead. You had all the momentum. You took the lead off of Malik Monk driving shot, and still you came up short because, Reggie Jackson got switched off on Reeves, and he just made a play from the baseline and got a layup, and that basically sealed the deal because Anthony Davis didn't make the last second floater that he attempted. But I mean, all in all, the Lakers could take a lot of good things out of this, but more so they're going to take bad out of it because they lost to a hometown rival, and now they're down 0-2 in the regular season series against the Clippers. Now, I personally believe this can come down to a play-in tournament game. I mean, possibly, can you see these two teams playing for a playoff position in the play-in tournament? I definitely could see that. So I feel like maybe we might get another matchup in the regular season, but I feel like it's very possible we might get this matchup one more time in the play-in tournament. I just feel that way for some reason. I don't know why, but I just do. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like that'll be one of the best play-in tournament games, or nevertheless, it'll be the best play-in tournament game probably of all time. You probably won't see a better play-in tournament game if the Lakers play the Clippers for one game, winner take all. I mean, that would probably be like the greatest ever. And honestly, I would put my money up to see it. I would love to see it. I honestly actually want to see that happen because I just don't know if the Clippers can, sustain getting enough wins to put themselves like in a 5th seed or 6th seed and secure that spot because they don't have the talent to do so. And even though they have the fighters mentality the way they have, it's only but so much they can do against some other superior teams. Superior teams are just going to beat them. Now, they've had some remarkable comebacks this year. They've had some remarkable games where they've had comebacks and got some big wins. But I mean, it takes a lot of energy out of you doing that. And as the season goes on and time wears down on you, the players might actually find themselves getting fatigued on the Clippers. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But as far as the Lakers, I definitely think they're going to probably end up being in the play-in tournament. And if LeBron can find a way to stay healthy along with Anthony Davis, I think they can find their way out of the play-in tournament and, make the playoffs. But I think it's just going to be a very hard road for the Lakers going forward because they don't really do themselves any favors. They have a lot of talent, but they haven't put it all together where they can, be a superior team, because either when they're on the floor, they haven't figured out enough chemistry to be a dominant team, or there's always an injury somewhere between Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Whether major or not, there's always an injury somewhere between those three superstars that prevents them from building the chemistry they need to beat superior teams and other teams as well. So it's going to be a very tough road for the Lakers going forward. But I mean, what we learned about them so far this season, they have to find a way it correct, which is their defensive issues. And of course, they got to cut down turnovers consistently, and they got to be able to count on their three superstars to be able to deliver in big games and big moments where they're called upon to be the three superstars that they are. And, of course, they don't have to be the best defensive team in the world, but they have to be at least adequate or a little bit more than adequate. And they have the pieces on there to do so. And looking at this team, even some of their young players like Malik Monk and Reeves and those guys, they actually play pretty well. They actually kind of fit well with what the Lakers are trying to do. It's just that the Lakers are not winning in the process, so it looks really bad. But I mean, hey, shout out to them. Shout out to the Clippers for giving us a great game. The NBA world needed a game like that just to see the matchup, the intensity, the rivalry, and just the overall great play between both teams and the competitiveness. That's what we needed to see, last night. And they definitely gave us that, both teams. So shout out to them. But as far as the Lakers going forward, definitely got to make some improvements, and we'll see if they do. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section, as always. And hey, Cali out.